You're feeding into an adult man's illicit fantasy of getting famous for unaliving a child. Every single true crime TikTok deep dive you do into this active investigation sensationalizes, immortalizes, and arouses that man. This man is not in jail. He's sitting at home on his phone watching y'all play internet sleuth, picking up every little deliberate clue he left behind for you. And none of y'all have even stopped to ask yourself why. Why would he leave behind such seemingly obvious clues? And it's because he wanted to get caught. It's because he wants you to do TikTok deep dives and find all the connections. He allegedly has been planning this for years, and you are feeding right into it. You are getting him hot and bothered. You are helping him fulfill his fantasy. I hope you realize that.
Hey y'all, it's Sheba and I'm back with another video. And y'all, today I wanted to cover this tragedy and controversy surrounding the singer David and this young lady you see on the screen, Celeste, and his involvement in her very gruesome unaliving. And I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to tackle covering this case because I have been following it outside of YouTube, on YouTube, and I feel like I wanted my video to focus more on Celeste and the true victim here in this case, because while the internet has been busy going to great lengths dissecting every aspect of the singer David's life and his involvement in the case, the truth is a 15-year-old girl lost her life, a child lost her life, and I really feel like more of our attention should be focused there. Obviously, David needs to be held accountable for his actions. However, I feel that Celeste wasn't just a victim in the news cycle, right? She was a daughter, a friend, a young soul with her entire life ahead of her. And the real tragedy here is that she lost it senselessly. And at just 15 years old, when she should have been thinking about school, friendships, and dreams of the future, she's no longer with us. And it's because the systems, the adults, the structures around her failed her miserably. From being reported missing last year to being found far too late, it feels like every safeguard that should have protected her either just didn't exist or didn't do enough.
Listen, this Celeste Rivas case really has me in the feels, not only because it reminds me of my story and things that I've gone through, but because it speaks of a broader, like a bigger picture. And that picture is that households in Latin America, Latino households, they don't see daughters as children once we are like 12 years old, especially mothers. And that comes from the model of colonization that we had, but that's from another video. It doesn't matter where it comes from, it is really affecting our communities. Like the questions that are asked, oh, did the parents know where she was? I'm here to tell you that the parents knew exactly where she was. This happens all the time in Latino families. They knew exactly where she was. And they probably, and especially the mom, was treating it like she was an adult and that like she chose it. She probably, the first time she ran away, she was probably blamed. She wasn't treated like a child, like, oh, these older men lured you. They probably told her, what the hell are you doing? You're embarrassing us, a little slut, like you're all hot for dick, and you're just a child that is getting lured out of your house, out of your home with promises of love. So when the parents treat the situation as your fault, you're at fault, and it is you who's at fault, so you're going to try to go away more with the person that's pulling you away from your home, and then they will blame you for everything that happens after. I can hear the dialogue because I had that done to me. I had my parents tell me that I was at fault, that what was I wearing, like I was a child. I didn't even know what makeup was. I was 13 years old when I met my abuser, and he was also 19, and he wasn't a singer, but he was a dealer, a drug dealer. And I'm telling you this, we had my father had him around many times because at some point he just wanted to like know who he was. And the only complaint that my parents had anytime that they talked to him is that he didn't have a reputable job, that he didn't have a job. Where did he get money if he didn't have a job? That he didn't go to school and that he was too old to not be in university. At no point in any of those conversations was, you're too old for our daughter, what are you doing? She's a child. It wasn't any of that. It was, you're not good good enough. I was 14 years old at the time when my dad will have him over, and that was the only complaint. Predators are everywhere. You as a parent, that's your responsibility to take care of your child, and that is the problem in Latino communities, is that we are not children. Daughters, we are not children in their eyes. When once we have a little bit of boob, then we're not children anymore to them. We need protectors in our communities, and that mentality needs to change.
And when we talk about this case, it's not enough to point at one person. We need to acknowledge how layers of failure pile up to create tragedy. Family dynamics that didn't shield her from any danger, right? A community that maybe saw the warning signs but didn't step in. Law enforcement delays and communication gaps that left her story in limbo for months. I mean, how is it that she was able to be missing for an entire year and the schools weren't getting involved, the local police were not getting involved? It literally took her being found in the trunk of the singer's car in an impound lot in order for anything to be done after the fact. And then on top of that, a media machine that softened her truth by just referring to her as a young woman or claiming that her and David were dating. Last I checked, children cannot consent to anything involving adult contact. So let's stop romanticizing whatever they're really adultifying this child, right? This was a child that was failed on literally every single front. And meanwhile, the spotlight keeps shifting all the focus to the celebrity name. And again, I do believe that focus needs to be put on David. But here's the thing. When we sensationalize the accused, we feed into the spectacle. And honestly, that attention might even be benefiting them. In fact, I know it's benefiting them because I've already seen that his streams are up, that he's getting the most attention that he's ever gotten in his entire career. You know, when all the focus is placed on the accused, they trend, they gain streams, they become this dark fascination. And if he would somehow manage to come out of this unscathed, his profile would be taken to new heights just because of his association with this case. But Celeste, her story gets buried under hashtags and headlines, and that's the backwards, messed up, harmful side of this. And it happens way too often in cases involving young girls especially.
Celeste absolutely deserves for one adult to finally protect her in her death. I have not made no videos about this because of everything that's already going around the internet. You know how social media works, so you never know. This might come across the timeline of the adults that are responsible for investigating this case, trying this case. That young man is finding pleasure in all of this. And everybody doing these little internet sleuths and this shit being all over the media, that's why he was leaving all those breadcrumbs. He's enjoying this. I pray to God that they are able to plead this case out and seal it. I would hate for any of the details of this gruesome, horrific act done to this young baby to be released for more internet fodder and for more pleasure for the sick motherfuckers that allowed this to happen to her. Now all of a sudden everybody got something to motherfucker say. The adults in her family let her the fuck down. The adults at that police station who the brother reported to that didn't do anything about it, they let that young girl down. Every adult that was around that disgusting man whose name I will not even say, that knew he was essentially trafficking this young baby and didn't do anything about it. This was well-known knowledge on the internet that this was going on, and nobody did anything to protect this young baby. The teacher now all of a sudden got so much to say why the teacher wasn't trying to reach out and make sure that this little girl was good. Nobody reached down and for the well-being of this child once. She getting tattoos and running around with this adult man and some whole other shit. I pray that those who are responsible for this case will have some tact and protect this baby. No more internet fodder, no more internet sleuthing, no more pleasure given to the sick motherfuckers that participated in this shit. Get your evidence, stack it hard, make him plead the fuck out and seal this case. That's it.
So instead of giving free press to someone who doesn't deserve it, I want to keep saying her name, Celeste. Because the true tragedy here isn't about a celebrity's downfall, perversions, descent into utter debauchery and degeneracy. It's that a child's life was cut short. Celeste's life was cut short, and she was failed over and over again by the very people and systems that were supposed to protect her. So if there's one takeaway from this story, let it be compassion for Celeste and accountability for the failures that led us here. Let's not turn this into another viral crime saga where the criminal gets immortalized while the victim just becomes a footnote, because Celeste's life mattered. Her life mattered. She deserves to be remembered with dignity. I find myself feeling so frustrated on so many fronts regarding this case, especially with the family. I mean, even the fact that the family hasn't yet to come out and make any official statement. I mean, how do you not recognize your lost daughter, your lost sister, and acknowledge her worth and the value that she added to this life? I mean, I don't see them talking to the press. I don't see them coming to the news. I don't see them stepping forward and telling us who Celeste really was as a person and what she meant to them. And for me, that is the saddest part about this case. So I think this is all I'm going to say about it. Again, I really wanted to make a video just honoring Celeste, shedding some light on Celeste, and just really putting the focus back onto her. But definitely let me know what your thoughts are below. How do we shift conversations regarding tragedies like this involving like femicide and child SA and kidnapping and all of these different things that are factored into this case, grooming? How do we shift conversations away from the sensationalism and back to empathy for the victims, right? The true victims in stories like this. So I'm really curious to know your thoughts about this case and what is to come. So definitely leave a comment down below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll check y'all on the next one.